Hi there, this is Kate with Tested, and today I want to talk to you about a fun tool tip I have where I make my own alcohol inks. Now, if you've never used alcohol ink, I guess the best way to describe it is liquid Sharpie. A Sharpie is alcohol-based ink. So if you think of it in that terms, it's not going to be water soluble. It works really well on non-porous materials. So the way I got into this is I actually do some glass art in my spare time. And when you apply alcohol inks to glass, it has a really cool effect. It looks kind of like watercolors and it dries solid. And like I said, it's pretty rugged. So you can buy alcohol inks pre-made. I've found that they are very expensive, and I'm somebody who likes to have a wide range of color options. And when you're limited to, it's a $60 kit for only 24 colors, that just doesn't jive with me. When I found out that you could make your own for very cheap and really customize your color palette, I was super into it. So I got to work. What's cool is that all you need is obviously alcohol as your base. You need to have some canisters or some sort of container to keep your paint in. These are quite large. Alcohol inks, when you buy them, are in tiny little dropper bottles. So any sort of glass bottle, small plastic thing, any kind of recyclable container you find is great. I like to have ones that have droppers in them so that I can use that as an applicator, but to each their own. If you find you want to use brushes to apply yours, that's fine too. And then to add to your alcohol, dried up markers. My local reuse store has a giant dresser full of dried up markers. They're available to teachers or to anybody who can find a use for them. And I found that all you need to do is take them apart, pull the felt out, pop them in the bottle with the alcohol, let them sit a few hours, preferably overnight, and you're good to go. For example, these are two colors that I made about 24 hours ago. So I took a few different colors, I cut out their felt, I popped them in the jar, I poured some alcohol over them, and I let them sit overnight. Then I removed the felt, I made sure to squeeze out any extra juices and pigment that was in there, and this is what I'm left with. If you were to try and make them and use them right away, they might not be strong enough, they might not be saturated enough, so best to give them a bit of time to sit. Today, we will show the process of making new colors, but we'll probably do an example with these that I made yesterday. One of the benefits of making your own alcohol inks is that you get to choose exactly which color you're making. So as opposed to, oh, I'm just going to make this bright yellow. Well, what if I wanted it to be a little bit darker? If I add a few of these oranges to it, maybe I'll come out with a bit of a gold color. Now, since you're making it yourself, there's not going to be a guaranteed outcome. You're going to have to experiment a bit, but I kind of find that that's fun. So I think for my first color, I'm going to be doing a yellow with some orange, so maybe a gold. For my second color, I'm going to do a bit of a green. I'm going to mix in some of this lighter seafoam with some of these darker olives and just see what we get. Again, like I said, the benefit of this is that you could take something that you think is completely dry and dead that you would normally be throwing in the trash, and this is a way to really sap all the rest of the pigment out of it. Another benefit to it is at least Crayola markers on their website claim to be made of a type of plastic that is recyclable. Now, with the stuff that's inside of it, it's not. So in this process of removing the felt and the inner contents of it, you might want to still throw away the cap and the end piece here, but this whole body now can be recycled. Obviously, check and make sure with whatever kinds of markers you're using so that you're not just wish cycling and hoping that the stuff you put in the recycle is getting reused, but this could be another good way of trying to really make full use of something before you throw it away. All right, for this part of it, as we break down the markers, first and foremost, you want to put some gloves on if you have them. Otherwise, you are going to have very colorful fingers. Next step is I like to take something like a matte knife. You can also use a pair of pliers, whatever, to pry off this end cap. You can also remove this piece here. I like to leave the cap on while I take this back part off, just so that if I'm moving around like this, I'm not, leaving any ink behind, just in case there's some pigment there. So on a Crayola, you will notice there's a seam around this back part here. This is actually an end cap. So what I like to do is take the blade of my matte knife and get it in here and start to wedge it in, and I start to roll the marker and let that start to work its way open. Again, I'm not necessarily cutting anything. I'm just using the fact that this blade is thin to allow me to get in there and pry off the end there. There you go. See how it's mostly coming out at this point? At that point, I just pull it off. There's your end cap. Again, this is a small enough piece. This should probably be thrown in the trash as opposed to trying to recycle it. Set that to the side. Take off your cap. Set that to the side. Take a pair of needle nose pliers. I like these because they're very long and very thin. So if you look at the end there, you'll see your felt. What you want to do is get your needle nose in there and pry on either side. There we go. We are going to be using this. So I take my bottle, open it up. This is a bit long for the kind of bottle that I'm using at the moment. And if I put too many in here, because this is a small neck, I'm not going to be able to get it out. If you want to use a larger receptacle to start with, sometimes I'll use like an old peanut butter jar, something like that. You can totally leave them whole. For this purpose, I'm going to cut this in half. You can just use normal scissors. Cut. Pop them in. Good to go. And then I also pull the nib off, just because that has some pigment in it as well. So it doesn't hurt to throw that in and get any bit of that that's left over. Now you are left with an empty, hollow plastic tube body, which, like I said, should be recyclable. Do your research, make sure your local area accepts them, make sure it's made of the material you think it is. On to the next ones. All right, I have filled both of these up. I tend to do, 4 to 5 markers per batch, and then I eyeball it with the alcohol ink. Again, this is all very experimental. Play around with how saturated you find they get and see what works for you. Since I normally only want a little bit, and these are large bottles, I really don't fill them up all the way. All you need is to have a bit of alcohol in the bottom and make sure one end of your felt is touching there, and it'll be like a straw and it'll suck down. So you do not have to cover the top of it. It will completely saturate through it. So I'm going to pour some through here. All right. I'm thinking this is probably a good amount. If you need to start to wiggle it, make sure you push anything down. As you can see here, some of the pigment is already getting pulled out of this felt. So it works very quickly. The process starts to begin. It needs to sit a while to get to full saturation, but the process starts right away. There you go. Now I'm going to put the lids on these to make sure I get minimal evaporation. Again, this is alcohol, which likes to evaporate quickly. And I'm going to let these sit. Periodically, I might come give them a little shake, make sure that everything is coated and absorbing in that sense. Otherwise, we're going to let these sit. Again, at least, I would say 4 hours. I give them overnight. The longer they sit, the stronger they're going to become. So try not to rush it. Give it some time. After these have sat for enough time, the last step will be to remove all of your felt pieces. And as you take them out, make sure you squeeze out any of the last remaining pigment, and that'll ensure that you've left all of the pigment in there with it. And you'll end up with something kind of like this, a cup full of junk. This can all be thrown away, obviously. If you want to try and get anything more out of it, you're welcome to try a new jar and another batch of alcohol, but at some point it's going to be less and less and less saturated. But so pretty much, again, just periodically give these a shake, and that should be good. Now, if you're curious to see what some of the alcohol inks will look like, I brought in an example here. There was an old candle holder that had these hanging off of it that I found at a junk store. So since glass is a really good material to use alcohol inks on, I thought we could try that. I'm going to use a bit of this pink pigment that I mixed up and brush it on there, and let's see if we can make it look like a pink crystal. Well, there you go. Since the alcohol ink is so translucent, you end up with a really great see-through paint that works on something like this. It's really more of a tint. So that's a good example of its use on glass. I think we might have another use coming up.
Hey Kate, I heard you were working on a project. I'm sorry I had to barge into your video
Oh, of course.
because I thought this might be a cool application of your alcohol inks.
Ooh.
So I have here are some 3D printed, they're like fantasy eel creatures. And what's interesting with this 3D print is I printed it in a clear resin.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also hollowed out.
Ooh.
So as opposed to maybe painting the outside,
Uh-huh.
one thing that I thought we could try is perhaps maybe trying to paint the inside.
I like this idea. Let's. I think we can definitely have some fun with this.
And fortunately, built into the print model is a little mounting hole.
There you go.
And I think I plugged up the other holes where I drained some of like the alcohol wash when I was cleaning this piece. But I believe if we just try dripping some of these alcohol inks into the cavity of the creature and maybe do a little bit of a swirl around.
Yeah.
I have no idea how it's going to look, but this could be fun.
It could be. And the fact that we have the dropper built in here, that should make an easy application.
Awesome. So I'm going to put on some gloves.
Great.
And we got 2 eels here. You have 2 colors ready.
Nice.
And let's try it.
Right.
So how much ink should we put in, you think?
You know, well, first I'm going to recommend before you unscrew it, give it a little shake. Make sure that it's good and mixed up. Now, I'm just going to say, you know, do your normal squeeze out, let it suck some up. I always give it a little tap on the end there so that it's not dripping too much. And then I'm just going to put a few drops in and see how it rolls and spreads and go from there. Oh, wow. That's so cool. Wow. And see, you'll only get a certain amount of coverage before it starts to evaporate and get sticky. So that'll tell you how much more you need and in what areas.
And how fast you need to move.
Yes.
This could really become, there's an art to how you rotate it and
Exactly.
your coverage.
It's kind of like rotocasting when you're in model making or mold making. And you might notice too, if you go back over a spot where you've already had some application, there's the potential for the pigment to get darker. And I also want to say, don't worry too much about spilling out onto the outside of the print, because obviously this cleans up so easily with alcohol that at the end you can just wipe the outside with a wet rag with alcohol and it'll clean up any mess.
Oh my gosh, I can already imagine mixing colors in here.
Ooh, yeah.
Like doing a base color of something and then accenting with a secondary color.
Get like a little tie-dye galaxy effect going. I'm working on filling the last of my head.
Something you pointed out, of course, is there are supports on the inside of this model. So those are going to take up the dye as well. It doesn't look like it shows too much.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if it would, and I'm not seeing too much. I thought maybe the supports would take up more than the outside would, and it would look funny, but I really don't see too much going on. I do like that it's both a translucent skin and a translucent interior. Because obviously you could try this with an opaque paint on the inside and you'd still have a translucent skin, but
yeah,
I like that. I mean, I would assume if you put a light near this whole thing's gonna glow.
Right, right. And again, there's that hole built in right there. They can just stick an LED in there. I've done experiments where in the cavity of a model I've done for opaqueness, like a rub and buff.
Oh.
You know, but also rub and buff, it's tough to get in all the nooks and crannies.
Yeah.
It can either get everywhere or not in enough places. So I wonder if maybe like this type of viscosity is maybe like a supplement.
Sure.
You know, maybe rub and buff first and then fill up any nooks and crannies with a similar tinted color.
All right, I've got a little bit of excess alcohol ink around my entry point here and where I've let it flow out. So I'm going to put a little bit of alcohol on this paper towel and just use that to wipe off any of the excess pigment. Also, if you notice that there's still some alcohol ink inside, like sloshing around, you can try to tilt your model around, get that to come out. Otherwise, you might end up with some darker pools in places, but then again, maybe that's what you want. So along those same lines of cleaning up the outside of your piece, any of the tools that you've used along this process that have gotten some pigment on them from the markers or anything, just take a rag, put some alcohol on there, and then wipe that pigment right off, and you're good as new. Whoa.
Kate, that is such a cool effect.
It is.
Oh, wow. It turned out so interestingly, and as we're doing this, like, ideas just started forming of different ways to use the alcohol inks. You hit it with some clear coat, which for this type of resin, it just fills in some of those layer lines, and that's what gives it the shine.
It turned to crystal clear after that.
Yeah. And you can apply more layers of clear coat as well, just to keep that shine. But
I just love how the end effect is that they both look like they could glow.
Yes.
You know, it's so translucent, it's so vibrant. And it's coming from the inside. It's so neat that you have that clear layer on the outside.
Very cool. Nice little neat demonstration and experiment with these alcohol inks that you made.
Yes.
And you have links to the products that you use in the description and comments below. But awesome job, Kate.
Thank you. And again, if anybody tries this at home, please let me know what you like to use alcohol inks for. There's so many different uses. I would love to see them in the wild.
Thank you guys for watching that video. If you'd like to further support us at Tested, you can do so by buying some merch from us in our store. A link is below, but I wanted to tell you that for the first time, we are releasing a discounted bundle of Tested merch, specifically our original 5 demerit badges. These are ways in which every maker screws up. So we've got the Measure Once, Curse Twice, releasing the mysterious blue smoke from electronics and stopping them from working, breaking a drill bit, 3D printer going all flying spaghetti monster on you, and my personal most common one, cutting your finger. Yeah, get yourself over to tested-store.com and line yourself up with some demerit badges. I'm gonna sew these to my apron. Oh, that actually would make a good one-day build.